In the very early days of the pandemic, there was a lot of fear. And in this community, there was a lot of fear. When you look across the river to Detroit, we have about 1,500 healthcare workers who cross the border each and every day to provide healthcare services in the city of Detroit, to the point that if the border were effectively closed and those folks couldn't cross, there would be hospitals, entire hospitals, that would have to close in the greater Detroit area because they wouldn't have the staff to operate. And so that speaks to the integrated nature of so much, whether it's supply chains with material or supply chains of human capital that exist on both sides of the border in Windsor, Detroit. And so because of the fear that existed so early on, there were calls early on for healthcare workers to not be able to work in Detroit because Detroit was basically on fire with COVID, and we had maintained a very low number here. And the thought was that those folks going across the border were going to be the vector for transmission. And so a lot of things were going on early in the pandemic, and there were people looking for space to allow healthcare workers, frontline workers, to self-isolate, to stay away from their family, because we didn't know at that particular time. And so obviously a hotel makes the most sense because the rooms are there, they're compartmentalized, there's food service, there's security, all of the elements to offer sort of an isolation center for frontline workers. No one wanted to touch it. No one wanted to be branded as a COVID hotel. And so the only person that stepped forward and says, I'll do it, is Shmuel Farhi. And he did it. He provided his hotel to Windsor Regional Hospital and allowed healthcare workers at the hospital to self-isolate away from their families in that particular space. And that went on for a number of months. And of course, there was a partnership where the city rebated certain property tax amounts. But at the end of the day, I don't think anyone was making any money. This was all to provide a service, and the risk to Mr. Farhi, I would submit, was actually really great. Because had this panned out in a different way, that hotel would have been branded as a COVID hotel. Now we're a lot smarter. We know that that's not a big deal. We can clean things, but there was a great risk at the beginning. He took that risk and he helped the community. And he helped the community at a very important time, and for that we'll be forever grateful.